Commander Vorthak's chitinous armor gleamed in the pale moonlight as he surveyed the human settlement below. His four compound eyes adjusted perfectly to the darkness, revealing every detail of the supposedly sleeping town. The Calarian invasion force had conquered 17 worlds using this exact strategy. Strike at night when the prey species were blind and helpless. His mandibles clicked with satisfaction. Intelligence reports confirmed that humans were pathetically dependent on artificial light sources. With the power grid disabled and communications jammed, these primitive creatures would be easy pickings. Through his neural implant, Vorthak contacted a strike team of 20 elite warriors. Perimeter status report. All clear, Commander, came Lieutenant Zefak's response. No movement detected. The settlement appears completely dormant. Perfect. The Calarian military doctrine was simple but effective. Eliminate leadership under cover of darkness, leaving the population demoralized and ready for conquest by dawn. I am the real faith in my program, and this country will be sent upon providence by damages to the world. This content has a perfect effectiveness in our lives. His species had evolved on a tidally locked world where darkness reigned supreme. Night vision was their greatest advantage. Move to primary positions, Vorthak ordered. Remember, swift elimination of command personnel only. We want the workers alive for the labor camps. The strike team descended like liquid shadows down the hillside. Their bio-adaptive camouflage shifted colors to match the terrain, while damping fields absorbed sound and heat signatures. To primitive detection systems, they were invisible. Trooper Zilak took point, his razor-sharp claws extended as he approached the first building. The warrior simply vanished between one step and the next. No distress signal, no sound, just gone. Zilak, report immediately, Vorthak hissed through the link. Silence. Then something wet splattered across Lieutenant Zefak's carapace. The lieutenant looked up to see Zilak's dismembered corpse hanging from a tree branch, organs spilling onto the ground below. The expression frozen on his face showed pure confusion. He had never seen death coming. The remaining warriors formed a defensive circle, their enhanced sensors scanning frantically. Their infrared vision showed no heat signatures. Their sonic receptors detected no movement. Yet, death had struck from the shadows. Lieutenant Zefak activated his molecular scanner. Commander, I detect no life signs in our immediate vicinity. Whatever killed Zilak has vanished completely. A thin cable looped around Zefak's neck from behind, tightening with mechanical precision. The lieutenant's head separated from his torso with a wet, tearing sound. His body collapsed while something above made satisfied grunting noises. Panic spread through the Calarian ranks. On dozens of worlds, they had been the apex predators of darkness. But here, the shadows themselves seemed to be hunting them. Trooper Kresh looked up just as a globule of liquefied tissue struck his face. He doubled over, vomiting, breaking formation. A serrated blade emerged from the darkness and opened his throat in one smooth motion. He toppled forward, blue blood fountaining from the wound. Above them called Trooper Nictel, firing his plasma rifle wildly into the canopy. The energy discharge illuminated the area for a split second, revealing nothing but empty branches. His continued firing struck something metallic hidden in the tree line. The night erupted in blinding light as a fuel cell detonated. The explosion sent shockwaves through the forest, knocking several Calarians off their feet. Flaming debris rained down like deadly confetti. A jagged piece of metal punched through Trooper Yilbin's chest plate, pinning him to a tree trunk. He stared down at the object protruding from his torso, watching his own bioluminescent blood bubble around the wound. When he tried to pull it free, the serrated edges tore through muscle and organ tissue. He slumped forward, still impaled, legs twitching as death claimed him. The explosion temporarily blinded the Calarian's sensitive eyes. As they stumbled about trying to restore their vision, the shadows came alive around them. Corporal Thex backed up, firing randomly, until he bumped into what he thought was another soldier. He turned and found himself staring into a pair of eyes that reflected starlight like polished mirrors. Human eyes. The face belonged to a creature painted in dark stripes that broke up its outline in the darkness. "Hello there," the human whispered, and smiled. Fax's scream pierced both the night air and the neural link as the human's hands moved with impossible speed. One clamped over his mouth, while the other drove a serrated combat knife up through his jaw directly into his brain. The blade twisted twice, making wet, grindy sounds as neural tissue shredded. More Calarians fell in rapid succession. They were dragged into ceiling spaces, yanked through doorways, pulled up into the rafters, all while their killers bantered casually, as if on a routine hunting expedition. "How can they see us?" Vorthak gasped into his neural link. "We don't see," came a whispered response in perfect Calarian dialect. "We feel your fear. We smell your blood. We hear your hearts beating. And we use technology you apparently never imagined." Someone had hacked their secure neural channel. Vorthak ran, abandoning all pretense of military discipline. His perfect night vision showed empty streets and vacant buildings, yet death came from these seemingly empty spaces, as if the shadows themselves were alive. He reached the landing pad where their extraction craft waited. As he approached the sleek vessel, an unnatural silence fell over the area. No wind, no insects, no sounds of pursuit. "You aren't the only ones who evolved for the night," said a calm voice behind him. Vorthak spun around, plasma rifle raised, but his arm was caught in a grip of impossible strength. He stared into eyes that tracked his every movement, despite the darkness. How he gasped. "You are diurnal creatures. You need light to function." The human's mouth curved upward, revealing blunt teeth that nonetheless sent primal terror through Vorthak's nervous system. "We started as diurnal, yes," the human said conversationally. "But we've spent millennia learning to hunt in darkness. We craft tools to extend our senses. We train our minds to process information your species never evolved to handle. We create predators of ourselves by choice, not by accident of evolution." The grip tightened until Vorthak's exoskeleton cracked. Luminescent blue blood seeped from the fractures as he howled in agony. "Your kind hunts for expansion and conquest," the human continued, watching with clinical interest as more blood flowed. "We hunt because we choose to, because we enjoy the challenge, because this is what we do for entertainment on weekends." Shapes detached from the darkness, dozens of humans materializing as if conjured from the night itself. They wore various configurations of tactical gear and face paint. Some had technological devices mounted over their eyes, while others seemed to rely on enhanced natural senses. All were splattered with distinctive blue Calarian blood. "Please," Vorthak whimpered, dignity forgotten. "We were following orders. The Dominion requires new territories for expansion." The human paced a finger against what passed for Vorthak's lips. "Nobody cares about your excuses. We know why you're here. The question is what to do with you now." He turned to his companions. "Anyone want a souvenir?" "Gibbs on the neural implant," called a female voice. "Tech Division is offering good money for intact specimens." "I'll take the compound eyes," said another. "My HID science project needs alien optical structures." "Venom sacs for me," added a third, stepping forward with what looked like surgical tools. "It makes an interesting cocktail mixer when properly diluted." Vorthak's scream began as a high-pitched shriek and ended in a wet gurgle as a combat knife found its way through his exoskeleton into vital organs. His body convulsed as blue blood fountained from multiple wounds. Dawn broke over the human settlement, painting the sky in brilliant oranges and golds. On the landing pad, a group of humans in combat gear loaded the last alien bodies into containment units, resembling hunters processing game after a successful expedition. Sergeant Martinez pulled off her night vision goggles and wiped blue blood from her face. 20 kills, no casualties on our side, not even a scratch. She held up a string of small technological devices that clinked together like wind chimes. "Got myself a nice collection of neural interfaces, too." Captain Chen nodded, cleaning his curved blade. "Good hunting tonight, clean and efficient." Private Anderson grinned, his teeth white against his camouflaged face. What can I say? I learned the spinal fluid extraction technique from my grandfather. He taught me on deer when I was 12. Why would you even want spinal fluid? Asked Private Williams, a newer recruit looking slightly queasy. It makes you immune to their telepathic attacks, Anderson said with a straight face. When Williams' eyes widened, the older soldier burst out laughing. I'm messing with you, rookie. It's for my brother-in-law. He collects weird specimens. Why do they keep attacking at night? Williams asked. It's like they haven't figured out we have night vision technology. Arrogance, Lieutenant Davis replied, shrugging as he casually tossed an alien limb into the containment unit. They evolved those fancy eyes and decided they owned the darkness. Problem is, evolution only gets you so far. He tapped his ear, then his nose, then his temple. We use these, and most importantly, these. We've been hunting in the dark since before we invented agriculture. Technology just makes it sporting. Martinez laughed. Their senses are pathetically dull compared to ours. When Jackson knocked over that equipment crate, I thought we were busted. 5 of us froze for 10 minutes, and those blue idiots kept walking right past us. Remember when Rodriguez sneezed during the ambush setup? Antonesson added. I nearly lost it, and their commander just stood there looking confused. The camouflage paint blocks their chemical tracking completely, Chen added, gesturing to the now flaking substance on his skin. Our R&D team figured that out after analyzing their first landing party. Mix it up with some local clay and organic compounds. Works better than military-grade stealth technology. Williams examined one of the alien corpses, fascinated by the articulated exoskeleton. In briefings, they made these guys sound terrifying. The scourge of 17 star systems. What were they fighting? House cats? He poked a claw that broke off easily. Actually pretty fragile up close, Anderson noted. This one I grabbed by the head and it just twisted right off, like opening a jar. You guys are amateurs, Rodriguez said, unwrapping a package containing several blue-stained instruments. Their nervous systems remain active for hours after clinical death. I spent 90 minutes working on that officer, the one with the fancy insignia. He kept detailed notes for the xenobiology department. The real irony, Chen said, watching as the alien craft was prepared for transport, is that intelligence reports show these creatures conquered dozens of species using night attacks. Their entire military doctrine relies on other species being helpless in darkness. He kicked a severed alien appendage. They never encountered anyone who hunts recreationally or uses technology to overcome biological limitations. Did they really think we'd just surrender because they could see in the dark? We could have fought them during daylight and probably won, Davis called out. But where's the fun in that? To the night shift. The night shift, the team responded in unison, already looking forward to the next evening's entertainment. Hiding beneath debris, one wounded Calarian had survived by feigning death. As he listened to the humans laugh about the slaughter of his comrades, a terrible understanding washed over him. The Calarian Empire had made a catastrophic miscalculation. They hadn't invaded a world of prey species. They had awakened a planet of predators who killed not from necessity, but for sport. As the human patrol moved away, the wounded alien dragged himself toward the tree line where an emergency beacon lay hidden. The Dominion needed to know the truth before launching a full-scale invasion. Behind him, a twig snapped. The Calarian froze and slowly turned his head. A small human female stood there, barely past juvenile age by his estimation. She wore no tactical gear, just civilian clothing. In her hands was a primitive projectile weapon. "Aye," she said cheerfully. "Are you one of the aliens everyone's been hunting?" The Calarian considered his options. Perhaps this young one could be reasoned with. Surely the young weren't born killers like the adults. "Please," he croaked in halting English. "I mean no harm. I only wish to return home." The human child tilted her head with curiosity. "Mum says you came here to hurt people. She says you wanted to make slaves of everyone, including me and my baby brother." A misunderstanding, the Calarian lied desperately. "We sought only peaceful contact." The child seemed to consider this, then raised her weapon. You're lying. Dad says your kind always lies. Also, your blood makes great fertilizer for Mum's vegetable garden. The Calarians' last thought, as the primitive weapon discharged, was that humans didn't become predators through evolution or training. They were born that way.